afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining me today on A Look in the Lab. My name is Fran Parathyras, and I am Zon's Education Manager. And with me today is Ian O'Neill. And Ian is the East Coast Dental Sales Manager for Roland DGA. All of you today are really lucky. You'll be the first ones to hear all about the new dry mill from Roland, the DWX-53D. So thank you so much, Ian, for joining me today. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here and talk about the new 53D.
Absolutely. We have just a few questions set up for you, Ian. So if you wouldn't mind telling me a little bit about this new mill and its specifications.
Sure can. So it's been some time since we've released a new single puck device. A lot of you are probably familiar with the 52D or the 52D Plus. That device was launched back in early 2018. So we're at about 5-6 years right now that we've been putting a lot of those devices out into the market with a lot of success and a lot of really happy users. So it's time to put out something new. You're probably familiar with its big brother, the 53DC, that has the disc changer. But now this past Tuesday, we've actually launched the 53D, which is the single puck device. So it's the little brother to the 53DC. It has the same spindle with 3 times the grip force compared to the older 52D units. So that opens up a lot of capabilities for additional tooling to make milling times faster. So that's exciting. Upgrades also include an extra 5 degrees in the B axes, which is really important not only for undercut areas and detail of milling, but for what we're seeing a lot more in the industry is multi-unit abutment cases for full arch and angled screw channels as well. So that extra 5 degrees is a huge factor for having high rates of success with those cases. So those are 2 of the big modifications, but it is a single puck machine, 5 axes. It's able to mill zirconia, PMMA, PEEK, pectin, materials like fiber reinforced resins like Trilor, denture acrylic pucks, thermoplastics, and the sinterable chrome cobalt metal as well. So those are some of the basic features of the device itself. Again, single puck, same disc adapters that you use in the 53DC. So a lot of the accessories, if you already have a 53DC, are interchangeable between the 2 devices.
How do you think the 53D would impact a lab's daily operation with all these new advancements?
One of the big things is going to be time savings. So with the tool development, anybody who's milling PMMA, denture bases, thermoplastic flexible RPDs, which are becoming a more popular option as people move away from metal in the mouth, it's time savings. You invest in one of these machines and you're looking for the best ROI. How can you achieve it? By milling more cases. So the time savings that we can reach with tools like the 3mm single flute, or now in the 53 series, the 4mm single flute, can reduce your milling times on plastics, acrylics, and thermoplastics by up to 40% on most cases. So significant time savings. You could mill a denture base in either the 53D or the 53DC in about 1 hour and 15 to 1 hour 20 minutes, which is about 1 hour faster than we were able to do previously.
Yeah, tremendous time savings for a lab. But if the lab has a 52 now, what will they gain by bringing a 53D into their production line?
Good question. That's, again, time savings and increased bandwidth means you can make more money with your device. But also with this machine, one of the big changes that's specific to the 53D is we've made some changes where the entire frame of the machine that supports all of the moving parts, like the axes and the linear guides, are all steel plate reinforced. So our frame is now thick steel, and the rigidity of this machine is twice as rigid as any other machine that we've ever manufactured before. That means tighter tolerances. It means better accuracy in margins and detail, and better overall surface quality. So that's a significant upgrade in this device. In all of our testing, it's proved to be hands down the most accurate device that we've ever produced.
And how easy is it to replace the spindle on the 53? And how often should you replace the spindle?
So a spindle is always rated for roughly 2,000 hours. We see customers who can get significantly longer than that. They might only be milling zirconia. They could see 2,500 hours.
Mhm.
But one of our focuses of our devices is to make these very user-friendly, where they don't have to wait for a technician to come out, don't have to ship their machine to a repair center. So
Okay.
just like the 50, 51, 52, the 53 is completely user replaceable. And we always provide those videos on our YouTube site to make it very simple for a customer who's in need of a replacement spindle to be able to do that procedure on their own and quickly.
Awesome. What about the software? Can this new lab work with their existing CAM software?
So anytime we release a new mill, you're going to need to be on a current software version. So if you're still running, let's say, Millbox from 2020, and now you want to add a 53D to your workflow, you are going to have to become current on your CAM software. So one of the reasons we always promote, and the CAM software companies promote, stay up to date, because there's going to kind of come a time where something's new is released, whether it's a workflow, a new milling burr for the machine you already have, or a new machine launch. And now you're stuck in a position where you have to catch up on those years. So staying on top of it is really helpful. It keeps you agile, but you do need to be on a current year license for your CAM software to be able to add the 53D to your CAM software.
Ian, can you explain the ease of use for this new 53D?
Sure, ease of use. So it's going to operate just like the 53D and the 52s, which were its predecessor.
Mhm.
And we've simplified some of the use of the machine, where our doors on the machines previously used to swing out and up and kind of close quickly and wear the door sensors out. So a common part that we would replace is these simple little door sensors. Now the machine slides on a magnetic guide up and down, and think of it as the cabinets in your house or the drawers in your kitchen where they're slam proof, and they close
Mhm.
themselves once a certain point. So the door is designed with that same feature now
Oh,
to prevent
nice.
slamming of the door. And we've also simplified the clamping mechanism inside the device. It uses the same adapters from the 53DC, but now it's one hand operational. So before, where you would have to hold the puck in place, have two hands in the mill and tighten clamps, or use a driver to tighten screws. Now
Mhm.
the puck slides into place, it's held firmly, and you use your two fingers to pinch two white clamps shut, all one hand operation. No need for tools to be in the machine. One hand in and out, and you're up and running.
Awesome. Super simple. Other than the mill, what else would someone need to order to get up and running?
We talked about CAM software a little bit already, so we do need to make sure you're up to date with the CAM.
Mhm.
If it's been a number of years since you have added a new milling device to your workflow, you may want to consider a PC upgrade as well. Not for the mill necessarily. The mill doesn't need all that much computing power to be able to operate, but the CAM software could be bogged down by old data, not up to date software, not up to date computers with better parts in them. That means faster calculations, and you're going to be up and running faster. So we want to make sure you have a good computer. You want to
Mhm.
have your CAM software or an up-to-date CAM software so you can add the machine profile. But if you don't already have a compressor, you're going to need an air compressor line. All of our mills use a very small amount of air. So in this device, it's 77 PSI, just like the 53DC. So we
Mhm.
want to make sure we have a compressor to tie into. It doesn't matter whether it's one that runs the whole lab or office, or a dedicated one that maybe you're going to spend $500-600 on and consider it a throwaway, where every 2 to 3 years when it wears out, you replace it.
Mhm.
So there's no need for it to be medical grade. That's a misconception that we've heard lately. A non-medical grade compressor does not void your warranty with us at all. So that shouldn't be a concern, but we always encourage that there's some sort of a dryer system, whether it's a plug-in dryer unit connected to the line or just one of those silica bead dryers in line to prevent any moisture from coming into the milling chamber whatsoever. All of Zahn will provide a set of tools. They typically include a tool set with your purchase. So outside of tools, compressor, computer, and CAM software, these machines have all the accessories they need to run right out of the box.
Awesome. How will making this investment better serve a lab's client?
Turnaround time for sure. One of the focuses we're seeing more 5, 6 years ago, all on four was like a big scary thing that a lot of labs were kind of staying away from because it made them nervous. Like it's a lot of responsibility. It's a big design. So this you would allow you to offer a patient or a doctor, your customer, whoever it might be, a turnaround time that's going to be faster. So we can do immediate all on four PMMA cases, 6 implant screw sites and a 25 millimeter puck in under 2 hours. I've done them personally in about 1 hour and 50 minutes. And we're also shaving milling times of up to 1 hour off of that same case in zirconia for the final. You're also going to be able to move away from metal RPDs, no waxing, no casting, no metal finishing, simple designs in your design software. And you're able to mill a flexible, repairable RPD frame out of a thermoplastic like Meyerson products that would be completed in about 40 to 45 minutes. So it's going to allow you to take some of that removable stuff, digital, and it's also going to allow you to produce a higher volume of all on four cases, which are quite profitable for the lab.
And what would you say tooling, any new enhancements on there?
Yep. As we already talked about, there is the 3 millimeter single flute, which has been around for some time. We did earlier this summer add the 4 millimeter single flute tool. It's really intended for cases that would consume a whole puck. You could certainly use it on, maybe you could fit a couple of PMMA all on four temporaries in a puck, but the time savings is for big cases. That big tool is going to do the roughing much faster. Think of it as a bigger mouth. We gave the tool a bigger mouth to take bigger bites of material to bring roughing times down significantly. That's for plastic, acrylic, and thermoplastic. But just recently, we've been working with Hyperdent, and we now have, it actually has quite a buzz on social. People are reaching out to me about it, asking for part numbers. We've implemented T-cutters, so we now have those tools available, and a long reach screw access tool. So it's going to have a longer reach, because when we do these all on four cases, they can be quite tall, consuming a 25 or 30 millimeter puck. And to mill the entirety of that screw channel, we're going to need a longer tool. So we have the ISB 15D is that long reach tool. And then the 2 T cutters, which are used for multi-unit abutment cases that have screw seats, are the ISB 14D and the ISB 16D. It'll choose one of those tools depending on the implant type or screw seat that you're going to be utilizing.
Excellent. What would you say the top 3 benefits in a nutshell would be for a lab owner who's considering purchasing this new mill?
I think number one is ease of use. With so many of our devices out in the market, people are already familiar with them and how to use them. And we typically don't make significant hands-on changes to the mills. They're still going to operate the same way with the same tools, collars. So the ease of taking a new device and maybe adding it to your production with an older 51 is going to be very streamlined. There's not a lot of changes. Adapters operate the same. The tool additions to the machine and swapping out tools is all similar. So very easy to bring something in. There's not going to be a lot of changes. Hands down, the production benefits for milling times with Hyperdent. You're going to mill cases simply just faster. So we're able to mill cases faster than before. The 53D with Hyperdent, we are seeing about a 20% time savings in zirconia milling. And that can be single unit restorations or large span bridges. It doesn't matter. We're seeing significant time savings there.
Awesome. So this mill seems like it's a definite positive added to any laboratory, really. And if any of you are interested, please contact your Zahn representative. They'd be happy to get you a quote on this mill. You can get some financial assistance through Henry Schein Financial Services, whether it be Route 66 or the Flex program, as well as taking advantage of Section 179 if you purchase before the end of 2024. So I'd really like to thank you, Ian, so much for joining us here on A Look in the Lab on Zahn Academy, and getting our customers first to see all the specs and all of the positives for getting this new dry mill into their lab. So thank you so much. And everybody have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Fran, for having me.
Absolutely.